Hello, in today's lesson, we're going to start talking about customary measurement. Let me share my screen. That way we can start with our lesson. Okay, so for this lesson, we're going to find the length of objects using concrete models of standard units of length, and we're going to learn which units of length we're going to use with customary measurement. And we're also going to determine the solution to problems involving length. The tools that we're going to be using for measuring length in customary units are going to be inches. So when I use a ruler, I'm going to have two parts of my ruler. One part that is going to show the inches, and the bottom part is going to show centimeters, which we're not going to use right now because we're going to focus on this part with the inches. My whole ruler, it's going to be 1 foot. 12 inches, it's equivalent to 1 foot. The other tool that we're going to use is going to be a yardstick. So this yardstick also have inches in here, but it's longer than my ruler. It's 3 feet. So 3 feet make 1 yard. If we were using the metric system, then we'll use on the back of this ruler, this yardstick will have the measurement that is equivalent to that in centimeters, but this is going to be 1 meter. Okay, we'll worry about this one on the next lesson. And we're also going to use what we call measuring tape, and there's different types of measuring tapes. I have this one that has a longer tape that will help me measure longer distances. Okay, let me put this down and back here, or the one that we saw that is this measuring tape that has inches on one side, centimeters on the other side. And remember, this will help me measure circular things or longer things that I can reach with this tape. Okay, let's continue. Okay, for my vocabulary words that we're going to use in this unit, we're going to have inches, which is about the length of a paper clip, and that's what we use to measure smaller things. We talk about feet, which is the length of a ruler, yards, and it's about the width of a door, right? Width, and miles. And miles is the length of a long stretch of road. We have on this side, right here, we have other examples. And we said the inches, we talk about the paper clip, but about our fingers, we can measure in inches, forks, pencils, small books. Smaller things are the ones that we're going to measure with inches. We use our feet to measure our height, for example, to measure longer stuff, but not too long, like textbooks and doors. When we talk about yards, you heard that in football, like a football field, it's divided into yards, a car, a desk, right? Because remember, we're going to measure with this ruler, this big ruler, or this yardstick. So longer things. And when we're measuring longer distances that we talk, like from my house to the school or from my house to the park or to the library, those are miles. Traveling from one state to another, from one place to another, running or walking. Car rides or airplane rides, we can measure those in miles. Okay, so let's measure. For this example, I have a paper clip, and on this ruler, I have both of them because later on I tell you we're going to discuss centimeters. So I want you to see both of them side by side. But on this one, we're using paper clip, and they tell me that this paper clip is 1 and 2 inches. Okay, the right way of measuring things, right? It's going to be, let me move this. It's going to be when we start from 0. My ruler starts from 0, and that means that this space right here, this space that I'm coloring right there, that's going to be a whole inch. Okay, so I will call it a jump. If I'm on 0 and I go 1 and 2, all the way to where the clip ends, right? This would be the line where the clip ends. I'm gonna have 2 inches. So the measurement for this clip is paper clip is gonna be 2 inches, and I can write it as 2 2 inches. Okay, and let's continue. Okay, but what happens when we can start from 0? Sometimes we're going to have some objects and they're going to be placed in a ruler, but we're not really starting from 0. And we can say on this, for example, let me get a different color than the bar. We can say that this bar is 9 inches long, right? Because it ends here. I know it ends here, but it starts right here. And this is not exactly 0. So this is number 7, and I'm not going to say that the length of this bar is 9. I still have to measure that space in between each one of those inches. So if I wanted to know, I do the jumps and I go like 1, 2. So a little bit right. So this bar is also 2 inches, right? Let's do the next one. This example starts here and then goes all the way here. And it was just this jump on this space. So this is going to be 1 inch. Okay, let's do our next example. 1 and 2 inches. 1 and 2. Okay, so this is 2 and this is also 2. Let's do our last one. Starting here, which is not 0, but this is where it starts. This is where it ends. Let's do our jumps. 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be 3 inches long. Okay? So don't worry if you don't start from 0. Sometimes maybe I just have a piece of my measuring tape and this is all that I have. I found a little piece of measuring tape. If I start measuring, oh, we're doing inches. If I start measuring from 31, right? I can just count the jumps and see the length of the object that I'm trying to measure. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so we have another example here, and let's try to measure these objects. Okay, they're giving me a pencil here, and this one I'm starting on 0, and this is where my pencil ends. Let's count my jumps, and I can do it like the same thing. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the length of this pencil is 6 inches. I'm going to put the units here that we're using. And then this is a glue stick, and I can count the jumps, or I can just do like, okay, the space between this and this is 1. Okay, so this is 1, and then I have 2, I have 3. So the length of the glue stick is 3 inches. I told you that we were going to be measuring objects, right, using customary units, but also we can do different problems or that we can solve with these objects. What if I want to know how much longer is this pencil than the glue stick? And when I'm talking about how much longer, I'm talking about the difference between those. And remember, the difference is a subtraction. Okay, so I'm going to say that up to this point right here, both objects have the same length. The pencil and the glue stick are up to this point, they're the same length. But the pencil is much longer than the glue stick. By how many inches? Then I'm just going to count the extra inches that I have that are more than what both objects are the same length. So I'm going to count them, and these are 1, 2, and 3. So I know that the pencil is 3 inches longer than the glue stick. This is the space that the glue stick is missing. So those are 3 inches. How can I find it when I set it a difference? Well, if I know that the pencil is 6 inches long and I do a difference, which I said the word difference, I'm going to make a subtraction. 6 minus 3, 3 inches. And I know that that is the same as what we did using the rulers right here. to measure the difference between the pencil and the glue. Okay, in this one we have three objects. We have a spoon, a comb, and a crayon. And the first question is which object is the longest? Okay, so if I go and measure them, I'm going to start with the spoon and I'm going to say that this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. The spoon is 4. I will always like you to measure everything that you have. Maybe write it on the side so that you can remember that is the measurement of that first object. When you compare, you have all your measurements right there with you. Then I'm going to make sure I start on 0 again, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the comb is 5 inches long. And my last one is a crayon. I'm starting from 0. Yes, 1 and 2. Even if I am not starting from 0, I'm counting my jumps so that it's making me be sure that what I'm measuring is the right measurement. So which object is the longest? Well, just to answer that question, I'm going to say that 4 is the spoon, 5 is the comb, and 2 is the crayon. The object that is the longest is going to be the comb, right? Is the one that has the longest unit of measurement. And then the next question is, how much longer is the comb than the crayon? Okay, so I know that the comb is 5 inches long and the crayon is 2 inches long. And in the previous example, we said if we do a subtraction, we'll be able to know what is the difference between those two. So I know that 5 minus 2 is 3. So let's count, up to this point. Whoops, I need to be straight lines. Up to this point, both of them are 2 inches, but I'm going to count how much longer is the comb. So I'm going to say 1, 2, and 3. And this 3 is going to match what I did with the difference. So how much longer is the comb than the crayon? The crayon is 3 inches longer than, the comb is 3 inches longer than the crayon. Good. Okay. I have these ice cream cones with ice cream, and on this example, my ruler is vertical instead of horizontal, but I can just measure the same. And this example, I'm just gonna mark it down right there because that's where you're gonna measure all your ice cream cones. And actually, this is the question that I have for you on your flip grid. Okay, so you're gonna see your ice cream cones, and instead of measuring like this, you're gonna measure how tall they are, and then you're gonna compare them. I have two questions that you're gonna have to answer for me on your flip grid. So when you go to flip grid, you are gonna go to your second grade mathematician's grid. There is the code, the access code for the mathematician's grid, which is Aochoa. Then you use your lunch number to be able to access the grid. And the one that I'm going to ask you to answer today for this lesson is measurement customary. And that's where you're going to see your ice cream question. Answer question 1 and question 2. You can make a drawing or you can explain it with a picture and send it to me on the grid on your wonderful videos. I have a lot of fun looking at them and being like super happy to know that you're learning a lot with these lessons. Okay, so I can wait to see those videos and wait for the metric units of measurement lesson. Bye.